Something about today just doesn't feel right. But I just can't tell what it is. Wait. What day is it today? Monday. I fucking hate Mondays!
I hate Monday, 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 I hate 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 Monday, 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 Monday.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to I Hate Monday. All about Swiss Shop Media, podcast for people that like hood moves and 48-ounce smart whip. I'm in the building with Fredo Avila, G5's Nighter, here with us this morning. He's under the weather. What's up with you, Fredo?
Good morning,
Yeah, so we back. We had a interesting show last week. We had an interview with MG Fresh from Mississippi. Hope everybody got a chance to check out his music. We got a dope artist coming up too this week from New York, man. So it's good to know we got people out on the East Coast, paying attention to the show and reaching out, submitting music. And we glad we got the opportunity to bring it out and put it on the show. So a lot has happened recently. Most recently, the NFL draft started this past Thursday. And we already talked about Fredo and his cowboy-loving ways. And, it's a lot of... Some teams had some good picks.
I'm a cowboy fanatic and homosexual, man. I can't hide it.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Homosexual. I ain't never heard of it.
Yep.
You ever heard of it? Homosexual.
I mean that in the most mannerless way possible. We didn't, make eye contact, Javier, so I don't know why you're blushing.
I ain't blushing, bro.
Yeah.
That's wow. Anyway, so, who you think had the best draft, bro?
Man, as much as I'm a huge Cowboys fan, I'm going to have to go with the Browns, man. For the first time in a while, I wasn't shaking my head and wondering what the hell is going on with the Browns, but they made some serious moves, man, on defense. They made some moves on offense. To be honest, I would say that they're probably put themselves in a position to at least get in the playoffs. Now, I'm saying maybe a 10-6 record, maybe even a wild card, but at least make it to that first round. After that, hey, who knows? The team gets hot right at the right time. Look at New York when they won their first Super Bowl under Eli Manning. They're, I think, a wild card, yet they ran the table against a 13-3 Dallas Cowboys team. I remember that game.
A lot of teams.
Still hurts me. Yeah. And unlike Peyton Manning, Eli Manning has Brady's number. So, but going back, the reason why I mentioned that is that that's to the Browns' benefit because history shows that regardless what sport you're in, you get hot at the right time. Baseball in October, basketball towards in the spring, football, hey, November, December, that's all you need.
Yeah.
So, what about
I'm just upset, man, because I feel like everybody in my division, they kind of leveled up and we didn't do.
And who's your team again, Fresco?
Everybody who know me know I'm diehard, bro. Diehard Baltimore Ravens fan. I bleed purple and black. Bro. So I just feel like, we addressed some issues. We didn't address a lot of the issues that we really need to address offensively. And it's just it's a lot of players that we should have picked, running backs that we should have picked that's in our division and they're not playing for us now. I'm really upset about that.
Yeah, then y'all lost a receiver, Steve Smith.
Yeah, we lost Steve Smith.
Steve Smith Sr., man, he's really the Panthers told him he didn't have it. Well, Dave Gettleman, anybody who's familiar with football, what's going on in football, Dave Gettleman has just ran out anybody and everybody he can that doesn't, agree to grab his balls. So because the way he treated Steve Smith out that door after everything that receiver has done for you guys, Steve Smith wanted to retire as a Panther. You forced him to go elsewhere, and he's never going to come back to get his retirement the proper way with that organization, so long as he is part of that organization.
You mean you're not even a Panthers fan? Right?
I'm not even a Panthers fan, and that's fucked up, you know. But for those of you who are wondering who that sexy voice is in the background, it's Mr. H2, a little special guest we have today with us.
How y'all doing? There's another Cowboy fan in here, man.
Man, I don't need that.
Oh, I welcome it.
You know, it is what it is, though. That's the world. But I feel like, you know, a couple teams took some chances on some guys, man, that really media would say had some character issues. But I mean, a lot of these guys, man, it's kind of like, if you go back to last week's show, it was like sometimes people who grow up in certain areas in certain ways, people feel like their behavior is conduit to character issues. A lot of times people just who they are, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes people just get caught up in bullshit ass situations. Wrong place, wrong time. I mean, the Raiders are taking a lot of flack for taking Garyon Conley, who you know, had some rape charges or rape allegations surrounding his name. You know, and I'm glad to see somebody give the guy a chance, especially in the first round, because he could have easily dropped second, third, fourth, fifth round just because of them type of allegations.
What I was hearing is that they had, like, I guess this private investigator or whatever, they gave him a polygraph test, and apparently he passed it, so that was what convinced him to go ahead and do it. Now, yo, hey man, rape's a serious matter, you know, but I believe innocent of proven guilty. Yeah. So hey man, your organization would have done it if they didn't feel that it was a risk worth taking. So, or at least there was a, you know, shred of innocence there. So yeah. So hopefully, you know, the truth will come out, and hey, whatever happens, you know, it'll get dealt with the way it'll get dealt with. So
I feel like, man, the Raiders might be a team that might have the Patriots number this year in the AFC.
If Mr. Derek Carr had not gone down, I would say that it would have been the Raiders.
Last season, yeah.
Yep, it would have been the Raiders going into Super Bowl.
And they got Marshawn Lynch now.
Yeah, they do. And it's
beast back there, so they're gonna be really running that ball.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you gotta look at everything that they've done, like in recent years, from Derek Carr to now picking up Marshawn Lynch. They got a good receiving core. They got a good defense now. And then you pick up this guy at cornerback who's probably like the number 2 cornerback on the board. He just dropped because of allegations. They made some moves, man. There's a couple teams though in the AFC that may have. I see the Patriots made some very, very aggressive moves, right?
Yeah.
I feel like they had to.
Yeah, man.
Because if not, they would not be the favorite in the AFC by far this year.
What you gotta think about it too is that you said Oakland Raiders, they got the Patriots number, but the Patriots only had 4 picks in the draft. Everybody else getting like 6, 7, 8, 9.
That's not uncommon for them though. That's not uncommon for the Patriots at all. They kind of like what the Lakers used to be. You know, they don't always have that flashy first round pick that you get. They have a lot of players, a lot of equity in players on the team, and that's how they build their team, man. They'll go and find a guy 5th round, 6th round. It'll be Joe Blow to us, and then fuck around. He got a fucking jersey, one of the top selling jerseys in the NFL.
Yeah, man.
This is what the Patriots do. And I hate the Patriots.
Me too.
And I know one of my homeboys listening to this podcast, wondering why I'm praising his team, but bro, I hate the Patriots still. Just, truth is the truth, bro.
I mean, how many times you got to be called a cheater, and I mean, come on, there's been plenty of times they've been caught, and I just feel a lot of the wins that they've had, the success has been tainted because of that. And it's not like, it's speculation. No, like they've been caught, with Tom Brady, I mean, 5-time Super Bowl champ. That's great and all, but I would say he's a system quarterback. Meaning that if you were to put Tom Brady at another team, he would not be as successful. He's a system quarterback. Now, on the flip side, if you put like a guy like, and I know he's retired, but the only guy that I could see that would probably be somebody that, for those of you who are listening, that you would probably accept in this scenario that I'm about to say is Peyton Manning. That guy, I'd say knowledge-wise, what he could do against the defense is a better quarterback than Tom Brady, because Tom Brady needs that system. You know, he's a system quarterback. Peyton Manning was the system. It was like having your offensive coordinator on there. I mean, so all I'm saying is that, you know, the Patriots aren't as great as people think that. It's a lot of good PR, I guess, on what marketing and everything, but I mean, yeah, some people will be like, but they've won championships. Yeah, but a lot of their championship years have been tainted with controversy. And even their other than
decades has been tainted.
Yeah, it's like, come on, dude. Like, even the wins that they got in the Super Bowl, they've really never blew anybody out. So I mean, that's the only thing. Like, now, on the flip side, if those allegations weren't there, were never brought up, I would say that okay, I would have to admit, give credit where credit's due, and say, you know what, they're doing something right. I may not necessarily like the quarterback, you know. I may think that the quarterback was, you know, would probably spit on you if he had the chance, you know. But I may say that the organization itself can gargle my balls. But I mean,
man, I just feel like
sorry if I'm offending anybody out there, but
they hadn't had
seriously.
The negative image they've had in recent years. I would be able to respect the organization a little bit more because, like, you know, I'm a Baltimore fan and I hate Pittsburgh, but at the same time, I respect Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. If we're not in the playoffs, or if it's Pittsburgh against New England, I'm rooting for Pittsburgh, hands down. Like, I'm always rooting against the Patriots, but I would rather see Pittsburgh go and do it. And honestly, man, I just don't feel like somebody else in my division is gonna make it. I don't feel like the Ravens. I'm just sad, bro. I'm heartbroken.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why he also doesn't mind the Steelers because G5 looks like Mike Tomlin. So how can he hate on his cousin? Just saying.
So that's the going thing right now. G5 look like Mike Tomlin.
If you get a chance to look at that, Google that up. All right. If you ever see G5, you Google a picture of Mike Tomlin. So you put it by his face.
If you see G5 in the street, walk up on him and be like, "What up, bro? Mike Tomlin looking at." So he do look like Mike Tomlin.
He does, and that's the first thing first thing I thought about.
I was looking at David Letterman before he retired, and they had Omar Epps. Omar Epps had like a little thing where he had like a little
yeah.
He looked just like
bro.
Like Tomlin.
Y'all can't check this man while he not here though.
Yeah.
G5 got them jokes.
Yeah. G5 is pretty cool, man. I'm not trying to hate on him, but I'm just saying, you know, the facts are the facts.
I'm just
Mike Tomlin looks
when he come back.
Fine, I'll give him this. Like, G5 doesn't look like Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin looks like G5. Okay.
Mike Tomlin, daddy, looking at. Hell no, G5. I know you ain't gonna let that shit ride, bro.
So I would expect it 10 times fold whenever G5 gets back next week, you know. Yeah, and I'll take it like a champ too.
It's gonna get real. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Yeah, I gotta ask real quick, you know, to Mr. H2, as a fellow Dallas fan, what did you think of this draft? Like,
I think we fulfilled all our needs that we needed at the time. We got a defensive end. We got some cornerbacks.
What defensive end?
Taco Charlton.
Who coach? Man, look.
We go to Taco Sundays, man.
Yeah, well, let's just pray for that. I mean,
y'all got, this is the thing about Cowboys and Cowboys, man. If y'all don't respect what y'all already be having, bro. It's like, you got decent defensive ends already. Taco is not, to me, is not violent enough of a player, bro, to really make an impact the way you think he gonna make an impact.
Right.
To me, I think Randy Gregory.
Randy Gregory is that dude, bro.
He would have, man, if he was to stay off the weed like Stephen A. Smith would say.
Man, look, he can stay out whatever he want to stay on. The only thing was about him when I saw him get in last year, you could tell he hadn't played football in a while. He wasn't in football shape. Yeah. He was making plays, bro, but he was huffing and puffing like a mug. If he was in shape, Randy Gregory would have been that dude, bro. He gonna be that dude.
I watched his tape, his film on when he was in Nebraska. He went to, right?
Yeah.
Nebraska. And I'm like, man, this dude, his techniques, his arms.
Yeah.
He played violently, bro.
He has the skill. He has the potential. He just got to get his shit together. Maybe he just needs one of the veterans to step up and take him under his wing. Maybe it's a matter of, just some stuff going on that, the media just doesn't know about, that's not aware. And hey, I can understand being a private person. It's kind of hard to be in that spotlight, and, I just feel that I can respect that. I just, I give credit to Jones for trying to at least give this kid a shot. And even after this failed test, he still has his back, and you got to respect that. So I feel, as a fan for Dallas, and as a fan, as much as we're talking about Randy Gregory, I do think that Randy Gregory can be the next great thing to happen to the Dallas defensive line. It's just a matter of who is going to be the guy to step up and say, okay, man, we got you. And on that team, it has to be a teammate. It can't be no advocate. It can't be no guy from the actual, Cowboys organization. No ambassador. It has to be a guy in the trenches with them. Whether if it's your quarterback, Dak Prescott, whether if it's a veteran like Jason Witten, somebody's got to get into that guy's head and just say, hey, man, I'm here to help if you want it. And,
this is my thing, man. These people, the media and people who take on these type of topics, bro, they act like these people aren't real people. These people are faced with the same issues that we're faced with every day, whether it's from a lot of these guys.
What do y'all think about that Jerry Jones trying to get rid of the testing for marijuana?
Yeah, I honestly think it's definitely a good idea. I think, and it's, really what's going on right now, especially in the United States, you have some states that have legalized it, and the good majority have not yet, but are leaning towards that. And at this point, the NFL has got to adapt. They have teams in those states where they've legalized it, where it becomes it's illegal in the state we're about to go play in, but it's not legal in this state. So what do we do? How do we control that? And I feel like it's just one of those things. You can argue one way or the other, whether it's harmful, whether it's not, whatever. The point is, people, at least legislators, are realizing the benefits and some players would rather, and anybody who's played in sports, they know, and I personally know about as far as getting injuries, having to be on painkillers and everything like that. It's I'm not saying I've ever been addicted to painkillers or anything like that, but I know friends who have had an opioid addiction because those fucking painkillers, those doctors are over medicating people, and that's a lot dangerous than just if they were just to go and take care of their pain through additional stuff.
I think
I think that's where they got to go to.
That's it's kind of like when you look at what the government's doing with people with possession charges. Possession charges of marijuana, putting a lot of people in jail for over small quantities of marijuana.
Mass incarceration, man.
Yeah, and that whole systemic approach, and that's another subject. But at the same time, it's keeping a lot of players, because the majority of these players would prefer to use something of what they feel is more of a natural treatment for some of these injuries that they sustain. And you got guys, former Baltimore Raven Eugene Monroe, who's advocating for these type of treatments. I mean, the NFL. This is what people don't understand. The NFL has a line called the T train. Every football player goes through if they're injured, and they get this shot. To kind of deal with it, make them feel like nothing's going on. I've heard coaches, players talk about Vicodin. And are those a safe alternative? I guess I would say, to using marijuana.
And they're not.
These players, they get addicted. It's like they retire and they still want to take this stuff, because guess what? You don't play the game. Man, I hadn't played football since I was 23. I still hurt.
So let me ask you something too. Is that okay? Say a guy that smokes the medication they have, what you call it, the actual doctors prescribe, certain weed or marijuana for certain people.
Like they got.
So do they have different players? That'd be a good question to ask. Because they test for it.
Hey,
I'm sure some players probably do have a marijuana card, and I don't know how you govern that though as a league, because if it's a medical card, so how do you govern telling this gentleman he can't take
the required medicine. Yeah. It just gets to a point to where the NFL needs to adapt to the times that they're in, that they're operating in, and they're not adapting. And it's in the end, I feel it's only going to hurt them rather than help them. You got players that are really damn good that have potential, and you know what? If that is all you're worried about, if they're not shooting up, if they're not taking performance enhancement drugs, they can hurt their teammates if they get in one of their little spells to where they, just like snap at that split second. You know what I mean?
And I just want to say,
it's just like it's not. I feel that the NFL needs to think about what Jerry Jones is trying to do and move with it, run with it, be a cavalier, be the person that goes ahead and starts that journey towards the 21st century and how to naturally deal with injuries.
I just want to say
I'm
not using this platform by any means to advocate marijuana usage. We just bring to light, a lot of the situation that's going on in pro sports with a lot of these players who are always on suspension. And not everybody is using marijuana. A lot of people are using growth hormones and things like that are banned. But I think that if we didn't have to worry about this particular substance being tested, a lot more players would be able to have full seasons, in the NFL.
Yeah.
And then maybe we could find some safer alternatives for these guys, man, because you look at a lot of football players who have like guys like Junior Seau that committed suicide. People say it's due to concussions or whatever, but it could be to a lot of these medications that these guys are on. You never know, man.
And they actually trying to compare that to what Aaron Hernandez went through. Like,
they donated his brain to science or to the CTE.
That's crazy.
That's a serious issue by itself too. The point is that these players sacrifice their bodies day in, day out, year in, year out for us fans that like to see this sport, that love this sport, and for these owners that take kids and give them massive amounts of money and says, hey, go make me more money. And then at the end, when they're irrelevant to them, they just toss them out to the street and say, yeah, go F yourself. We got this new kid, It's one of those things where, what you should be worried about, what you should be trying to do, what you should be more putting an emphasis on is showing them how to handle this.
Yeah.
You're giving the young 20s. I know if I was 20 years old, 19, 21, 22, you gave me a check for $50 million, or not even a check, but a contract for that much, and you expect me not to, go crazy with it, you're stupid. It's just like, now I know this is a little, like, not necessarily, football, but Dave Grohl is a member of the Foo Fighters, was a drummer of Nirvana, and he was being interviewed, and he was asked about Justin Bieber, and expecting I'm sure the interviewer was like, oh, he's got to bash him, right? Like, he's going to go ahead and just rip because it's Justin Bieber. Like, the hell with that dude. No, he was like, okay, so you've seen Justin Bieber, blah, blah. What do you think with all this antics and everything? And they start kind of setting up the question for the response that they're expecting. And Dave Grohl's like, you give a kid that young that amount of money with all this exposure, what do you think is going to happen? Like, it's your guys' fault. Like, if you knew half the stuff I did at his age, would you have any respect for me? Like, it's kind of just summing it when his response is up. But basically, that's what he said. He was like, look, what do you think that was going to happen? I sped. I've done super reckless things. But you give, like, going back to the NFL, a lot of these kids are coming from not having anything to having everything at their hands, getting in any club that they want, getting in everything that they want to do. And it's just, it's unfortunate. I think that if you have classes, if you stress the responsibility on the field and off the field, but financially, I mean, I'm sure they have classes like that. They just have to stress that more enough. If nobody has checked out that film, North by 40, it's a movie made back in the 70s. It was kind of like a satire about the NFL, and it was loosely based off the Dallas Cowboys organization. As far as, like, during that time, the Tom Landry era and everything, It's with Nick Nolte, and it's a good film, but it's basically the same thing. Nick Nolte's this awesome, receiver, but he's basically the fall guy as far as like, they kick him off the team for marijuana, and he points out what Javier Fresco said, that you give us stronger stuff inside the locker room. Like, you're telling me you're after me for this, then this is before the big contracts. So this issue at its core has been an issue, has been kind of chewing up and spitting out players since the beginning of its founding. So I think we need to mention something. I know it's been a few, like for one individual, it's been I think a couple months already. For another individual, it's actually been a few weeks. Now, some people might think that we're too late at this, but hey, out of respect for what they did in their career, and especially one of them, what they did for music, we had to at least show them some love. And I'm talking about Charlie Murphy, and I'm talking about Chuck Berry. Both recently passed,
right?
And out of respect for both their families, immediate and obviously just general family members themselves. I mean, we had to give them a shout out. I feel it's Charlie Murphy doing what he did with the Chappelle Show, and even after that he was doing stand up. After the Chappelle Show went off the air, and Chuck Berry. I mean, oh man, it's Chuck Berry. He's pioneer of rock and roll.
It was really shocking when I heard about it. It's like I was watching a clip of Charlie Murphy on Facebook, and the next day somebody texted me like, "Man, Charlie Murphy died." I'm like, "What?" I was just watching a clip from the Dave Chappelle Show. It was funny as hell with him in it, and what's even more shocking though, Chuck Berry had been dead for a while, and somebody was like, "Yeah, Chuck Berry died," and so and so. And I'm like, "Wait a minute, Chuck Berry died?" And it's like I didn't hear about it anywhere. Like a couple people I knew about it, but I didn't know anything about it. And I feel like it was such a disservice to Chuck Berry for what he's done for the music culture here in America, and him not have a widespread covering when it comes to him dying. I feel like it was messed up.
Really, I mean, Chuck Berry. There's a little story that I recently found out about Chuck Berry and his music. Now, the Beach Boys ended up using one of his riffs in Surfing USA, and of course Chuck Berry took issue with that because hey, he created it. He's not about to go see somebody make some money off what he put his heart, sweat, and tears in. So he takes legal action, and rather than the Beach Boys, going to court and fighting him, because let's face it, let's try to not sugarcoat shit. It's the '60s. The Beach Boys could have easily, an all-white group, with all their lawyers and all their power, easily shut Chuck Berry down. And with the way racial tensions were back then, it could have easily been done. But with the kind of, and I can't necessarily, I don't know much about all the Beach Boys, but one of them that I do respect and admire a lot, Mr. Brian Wilson, he has a love and admiration for, 50s music and what the pioneers of rock and roll were able to do for it. And so what they ended up doing was they took care of Chuck Berry. They gave him, basically they gave him royalty rights, royalties through with the whatever money the song made, and also they gave him credit for also writing the song, at least writing that riff. So, but that's the kind of stuff that wasn't uncommon for people to do for a minority black artist back in those times.
Yeah, it happened to Little Richard, happened to Chuck Berry, it happened to a bunch of guys in that time period, and it's unfortunate because a lot of white artists get a lot of credit for popular culture, and that's not. I mean, even to this day. I mean, if you look back at twerking, if you look back at
wait, so you're telling Miley Cyrus didn't create twerking?
Come on, bro. Like, I can remember being in elementary school and hearing songs with twerking in it. I'm almost 30 now, and maybe 4 or 5 years ago, twerking just became a part of pop culture. And what a lot of people don't understand is African American culture is pop culture, but it's not considered pop culture until white people pick it up and they make it mainstream culture. It's like African American culture is so impactful in this country. Like, think about the phrase "by Felicia," right?
Yeah.
Prime example.
It's true.
It's from one of the most low-budget African American produced films in the country, but "By Felicia" wasn't popular until white people made "By Felicia" popular.
Yeah, and it's definitely true. I mean, in that, I still remember, I grew up on it. I can quote that movie from beginning to end, and I'm proud of it. Friday was one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid. And I still remember whenever it came out, You Got Knocked the Fuck Out was one of the popular things.
My grandmama gave me that chain.
He go cry in his car.
That type of shit.
That type of shit. I got mind control with Debo. He'd be like, shut the fuck up. I'll be quiet. When he leaves, I'll be talking again.
Yeah. But everybody be like, "By Felicia."
By Felicia is not like, I can understand like the humor behind it, but it's just, it's not the line that I remember
From
Friday for.
Yeah.
The line before that, "By Felicia," is funnier than "By Felicia." Because that whole scene, she comes up and asks, they're all hiding their shit that they're smoking. She comes up and asks Smokey for his car. He's like, "What the fuck kind of question is that? Some people want to borrow ketchup. Yeah, it's some sugar.
Yeah.
You want to borrow my car?
Hell
no." And she's like, "I remember that. Remember it. Take a picture. I don't give a fuck." That is that's the funniest shit. And then Craig, he doesn't even people were making it seem like Craig was like, "Bye, Felicia." No, he was just chilling. He was he wasn't even looking at her. He's like, "Bye, Felicia."
Yeah.
That's it. There was no comedic deliverance with that. I mean,
I don't know.
Ice Cube is,
Ice Cube.
It has a certain sense of humor, but it's just there's a lot of things that he does in that movie that you could see that's funny, that just in his way that only he could have delivered that.
Yeah.
But just the whole when he gets high for the first time, and then suddenly he's running around, he's like, "You hear my phone ring?"
Yeah.
Shut your ass down. It's I don't know. There's just so much.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. It's a shame that it's so many different references that we can make to just, make people more aware of what's going on. It's sad because a lot of those people, unlike Chuck Berry, they got gypped.
Yeah.
And they never got properly compensated, or they never got the type of recognition that they deserve from them situations. And I don't think it'll ever resonate with the people that, so much has been taken away from African American culture and African American music, entertainment.
But the thing is, too, you think about it, what you're saying, I agree with, but, it's like they say, it's cool to, when you talking about slang, whatever, but it's in the black culture, but when you get treated like a black person, it's different. They don't want to be treated that way.
Yeah.
Because, get pulled over by the police, or you got to worry about, maybe it's going to be a situation. You don't want that to happen. So.
It's all, and it just goes back to the systemic thing that I was speaking about earlier. It's they still are, the powers that be, and it's not, I can't just really accredit, everything to white people, but it's what's been oppressive for us for so long. But the powers that be, they make us feel like crap. They treat us like crap, but they steal everything from us and make it popular.
Exactly. And what's bullshit is the fact that, I know one person out there is going to listen to this and "Oh, you guys got too political. Oh, this, and that." It's you know what?
No,
Bullshit. Because this is us being real about this situation, because unlike you, who might think that this is the kind of shit that kind of dialogue that needs to happen.
And this type of shit
during here's the thing, during South Africa, during the apartheid, when Nelson Mandela came to got elected as president and everything like that, the way they dealt with their shit was that they had a real dialogue about it. Everybody had to participate. Everybody had to see the pain and suffering that was going on. Everybody had to realize, come to Jesus moment, you know?
Yeah.
And that hasn't happened in the United States. You start talking about like race relations, you start talking about what happened with slavery, you start talking about how migrant workers, like Hispanics, are being mistreated, and people are like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. Well, you know what? Stop it. Because this shit needs to be talked about. You know, you're not gonna, you can't act like this never happened.
Right.
People don't want to accept the fact that a lot of our history was built on shit that's got stolen and a lot of blood. And it's not like patriotic blood either. It's about, I want your land.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Okay, I'm gonna kill you. Okay, start running.
And the thing is, a lot of people don't understand that when it comes to things like slavery, segregation, we're not so far removed as a people from those time periods. You think about slavery lasting over 400 years. We've been out of slavery, what? Have we been out of slavery 200 years yet? It's hard to replace that time in such a short amount of time. And it's not even about the people who were enslaved, it's the systems that set up. We are in modernized slavery, and I wish a lot of people would understand that. And when it comes to you looking at artists being pimped and it's all a modernization of what they had systematically to control the people. It's
unfortunate that with Chuck Berry, he didn't get that due, you know? And I mean, there should have been, you know, media coverage on that. Like, I'm not talking about like 24-hour, because, you know, even I have an issue with 24-hour media coverage as it is, you know, how it's just kind of like it's not news, it's just entertainment. And it's just like whatever they feel is like next 15 minutes. Then they'll just wash it under the rug. Then the next 15 minutes, then wash it under the rug. Like, no, I'm talking about he should at least have a few hours of like, hey, you know, if you haven't heard, Chuck Berry passed away. Chuck Berry was a pioneer of rock and roll, you know, and he was an inspiration to even guys like the Beatles. When I was seeing a documentary on the Beatles, and they were saying that a lot of, I guess, the songs they would cover was, you know, songs that, you know, from, I mean, a lot of black artists, you know, and because that's what they were inspired by. You know, like rhythm and blues, and just what artists at that particular moment, when the Beatles were coming into it, what they were listening to, they were inspired by guys like Chuck Berry. But, you know, it's unfortunate, but, you know, rest in peace, Chuck Berry. He'll be definitely be missed. And as far as for Charlie Murphy, you know, the guy, he was like, as far as like from all interviews, all accounts, one of Eddie Murphy's biggest supporters. He is what a big brother should be. Yeah. Because he was there for him, good and bad. When Eddie's career was at its peak, and when Eddie's career was at its lowest, like Pluto Nash shit, you know? Yeah. And so I mean, it's just one of those things where, you know, when he was being interviewed one time, they were being asked about, you know, about his relationship with Eddie, and he was like, you know, if I didn't see a guy laughing, because if I'm laughing, that motherfucker should be laughing, and if he wasn't, or if he was talking shit, I'll beat his ass, you know. And that's to me, hey, hats off to him, dude. I mean, he ended up coming out of Eddie's shadows, like regardless of, you know, what they did. You know, Eddie took care of him as a security person at first, and then finally they realized that Charlie Murphy was just a little too high strung for being a security. Like, he was just like, he would beat the shit out of anybody. That, you know, they brought him down to something else, and it's just you know, I mean, that relationship I admire, because that's how siblings should be. You know, it shouldn't be like you just forget everything and anything. He was as humble as they came, and when he got his shot in the limelight, he took off and ran with it with Dave Chappelle. And, you know, thank you, Dave Chappelle, for giving us a chance to see the true Charlie Murphy at his best.
Yeah. So rest in peace, Chuck Berry and Charlie Murphy.
Yes, rest in peace, indeed.
I think it's about time we're gonna wrap it up. We like to thank everybody who's been reaching out, man, sending submissions to to our email. We've got a lot of guys from New York, from the East Coast, sending us some songs. We have a lot of people still hitting up the Q&A. Next week we're gonna address some more of those Q&As.
Yep, when G5 gets back.
Yeah, I think it's always better to have 3 opinions, man, from the core to see what we think about those questions, man. We got some funny ones coming through. I'll let y'all know that. So up next we got Conceptz featuring Melodic, all the way from Orange County, New York, with Funky 5.
Yo, I'm better in the night. My life's like what you see in movies. Champagne, beautiful women in the jacuzzi. Lots of smoke, no weed, only Cubans. Rotating beds, body massages could be so soothing. Helicopter rides, knowing I'm afraid of heights. Looking down at the city, enjoying the nightlife. Look, bright lights, great view. Then later on I hit the bars, drinking with my crew. Where you been? I ain't see you in a while. Came here alone, we should dance right now like You move real good, take you home, let's see I should. Play this out, hit it with a high note like Every time I step in here, I can't believe my eyes. She can get it ooh, she came with friends and of course I'm fly. I get down to it with a drink, well that's the plan. Not gonna lie, I ain't come to dance, but how she move, I'm in a trance. I want her back, goddamn. I don't usually misbehave, but it's strange, I can't control my hands. Everybody clap. We on the same page, now that you're involved, let me see you just wave up back to you, sweetheart, oh yes, I want to know your name. You kinda remind me of this girl, Mary Jane. She loves the party and she never complains. That's my kind of vibe, gotta ride out back. If you ready, let's jam and hit these streets. I'm hypnotized by them thighs and eyes, I can't lie, got me feeling kinda weak. I guess we rolling, so let's go. You got some friends for sure, no more waiting. I've been patient to see, touch me down below. We all here to meet somebody and lose control in this place. I got my eyes on you, wanna take you home. I can't wait, we all here to meet somebody and lose control in this place. Can we get down? Cause the night is so young. Can we get down? Possibilities are so endless. And she's so grown and sexy and all mine. And if you leave it to me, I'm leaving with you tonight. And if you leave it to me, we gon' get it. Pretty lady, she's a pretty lady, the type to drive you crazy. She's a sight for sore eyes. She's my funky five, Oh, yeah, the type of lady you never let her slip away, drift away. Goddamn, yeah, she's so fine. She's my funky five. Oh, wow, so flawless, gorgeous. I need this goddess queen. No BS, hottest thing I've seen since, I don't know, she's such a dream. Hot as steam from a geyser, on fire. Radiates pure energy, she's a rare find on the Bible. No liar, spit game, here we go now. Staring into the eyes of a divine entity, it's a showdown. Yeah, that's right, it's a showdown. Oh wow, I like what I see. I might have to catcall, but so smooth, Prince Charming, so politely. Yeah, quick snaps approach, classy lady, name is Katie, handbag is Coach. Yes, she's blistering, explode nitro glycerin. So cause the night is so young. Can we get
alright, everybody, that was Funky 5 by Conceptz featuring Melodic. We about to get on out of here. Take us home, Fredo.
Alright, well, just want to send a special shout out to Mr. H2 for doing sound engineering and putting his input on this. But, you know, it's time to say goodbye. And for all you working class America, just keep your head down and do your damn job.